Hi, friends. Welcome back to Natasha's Healthy Living. If your mind's been feeling a little scattered, your home a bit chaotic, or your routine's off track, you are not alone. Today, I'm sharing my mid-year refresh, cozy journaling, a peaceful planner reset, and how I'm using my meal planning system to bring more calm into our everyday. Let's take a deep breath and reset together. Welcome back to Natasha's Healthy Living. I'm so glad you're joining me today. If you've been following along, then you know I recently celebrated a birthday, and as we're finishing June and heading into July, and especially because I just had my birthday, it always feels like a good time of year to do a little bit of a refresh and a reset. So, this is my mid year refresh I'm sharing with you today. And besides just taking you along with me today, I wanted to share some of the things I'm doing to reset my mind, reset my attitude, and of course, refresh my home a little bit. Nothing is phenomenally different than what you've probably heard before. We're not talking about life changing things here. Sometimes we just need a little bit of a mental reset. So, I've been going along doing some of the basics around my home, but this week especially, I felt like it was a good time to sit down and do a bit more journaling. And I put together a mid year refresh journal prompt list. So I will have that linked in the description box down below if you want to check that out. And it's just some simple questions. It was nice to take some time and think about how things have been going so far this year, what's been working, what things have been challenges, and maybe some changes I'd like to make, or even what things I want to let go of. And just taking some time to slow down and reflect on these questions has given me that mental reset that I needed as I'm looking ahead, finishing out the summer, back to school season, and before we know it, the holiday season. One of the overall themes I was thinking about when I put together this list of questions was what needs simplifying in my life right now? And I looked at areas like my home and my health and even my mind and my mental state. And I took some inspiration from Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, which says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And this is such a great reminder for me that I don't have to do it all alone. I don't have to have all of the answers. Sometimes it's just slowing down and taking things one step at a time, working on the next thing in front of me, and keeping in mind that I can always ask for a little help and slow down and enjoy the beauty in each moment. And it makes life a little easier when we start to feel frazzled and frantic and like there's just too much going on. So I encourage you, if you feel like this might be helpful for you, take a look at the mid year reset questions and take some time to reflect. I've been praying about what to release and what to keep moving forward with. And it's been helpful just to shift my mind and think more positively as I go forward into the second half of the year. Part of resetting my mind has been spending some time in my planner, not only to plan ahead and think about what I need to do to be prepared, but also to journal and just take some time to get things out of my mind and down on paper. So let's take a look at my current July setup in my planner. Here we are up in my office. I have my Jane's Agenda pen pouch. This came in a box last year sometime, I think. I don't remember when, maybe June of last year, but I decided to pull this one back out, partly because I loved the blue hydrangeas that are on here, but also because I needed a little more space and am carrying a few more markers and pens with me right now, so I grabbed that. And then I have my Jane's Agenda classic size planner. This has the new saffron cover. This is a vegan leather pebble grain texture cover in this color called saffron, and this came in the July deluxe subscription box. So if you haven't seen that unboxing video, I'll link that down below if you want to go back and see what all came in the July deluxe subscription box from Jane's Agenda. I'm really loving having this cover. It's been a fun addition, and it just really sort of brightened up my planner, gave me a whole new look and feel on basically the same planner that I've been carrying around with me all year, but now it looks different and has been transformed. And I have 1.5-inch gold metal discs from Jane's Agenda. And then quite a few of these things are also from the July box. So this is the cover, the plastic cover that came in the July deluxe subscription box. And several of the cards are from that box as well. This is something I've had for a while. It came from a card that I got, like a greetings card that I got at Jordanvention last year, and I just peeled it off of the card. I'm not sure if it was something handmade or if it was a commercially made card. So I have no idea where to find that, but I still keep that in my planner because I like that. You might hear my daughter in the background. She's on the phone with her bestie. I've been keeping these stickers from the June deluxe subscription box in here from Jane's Agenda, just in case I want to use this jar somewhere. I cut out the center of it, and I keep thinking I might use it as a little bit of a tracker for my sales for Jordan Essentials for the month. And then behind that, I have my Jordan Essentials Spring Summer catalog. This is the last month of this catalog. We have 2 new catalogs each year. So there'll be a fall winter catalog that launches on August 1st. And I'm really excited because I'm going to Jordanvention and I get to be in person and see the new products firsthand, try them, smell them. There'll be a new scent that comes with that fall winter catalog. So I'll get to try that and smell that first thing on August 1st. And there'll be some new goodies coming in there as well. So that's always exciting. That's a fun time for me. And then I have some of the Bloom Planner Company stickers in here. I've been using these to track when I do a Jordan Essentials face mask, just to kind of note that, and then some of the other little stickers I use here and there as well. So that's kind of the initial setup. And then one other update is this is a Jane's Agenda vellum that came, gosh, maybe in March, April, May, something like that. I feel like this came within the last 6 months, but it was in another subscription box. And I was looking for some things and updating different planners and notebooks I have, and I came across it and I wanted to put it back in my planner because I really like that reminder. I always need that, not to get too caught up in perfectionism, but this reminds me just to work on getting things accomplished. And then I have the bicycle and sunflowers dashboard behind it. I'm still loving that look. So I don't know if there's a glare and how well you can see it, but you can still kind of see the bicycle behind there. So now let's go ahead and flip to July. So I have, if you watched the unboxing video, then I also went ahead and set up July. So I have the dashboard with the sunflowers, and layered on top of that is the vellum that came in the box, and I have the cute little hexagon paper clip holding it all together, and it says, "The sun always shines above the clouds," and that's a quote from Paul F. Davis. And that opens to the first page of my monthly dashboard or monthly calendar spread, and this is a dashboard page. So I haven't gone in and put my goals in. I don't know, I always struggle between like what's a project and what's a goal, so I need to maybe think about what I want to put there. I've been working on this. I actually did do quite a bit of planning. Oh, and sorry, I have poison ivy, or actually I think it's poison sumac or poison oak. I don't know. It looks awful. I have it covered to save our eyes, so we don't have to look at that while we're looking at my planner. So that's what that's about. But I got a lot of good weeds and vines pulled from the front yard, and I wore long sleeves and gloves and did the best I could to wash everything carefully. But I think because it might not have been poison ivy, because I know what that looks like, I'm thinking it might have been poison oak or sumac, and that's why I didn't realize I brushed up against it, but that's there anyway. So I did start planning for Jordanvention, and I pretty much have the majority of my plans in place. I do want to go through and look at my outfits for the 3 days. I've used the convention planner that we got in the, was that in the July box or the June box? One of the boxes from Jane's Agenda. So that's been fun to have that. I haven't really started thinking about my husband's birthday yet or back to school. So those are still kind of on my radar. And our new catalog launch, I have a checklist, so I need to go back in and look at that. So I haven't started on that, but I did do my JJ box. That's Joyful Jordan box. Again, if you want to go see that video, it's up on my channel now. So you can see the July Joyful Jordan box from Jordan Essentials, and I have all the July specials that I go over in that video as well. I'm working on this video. Next week, you'll see the index card system. So you're kind of getting a sneak peek as to what's coming up in my video schedule. And then the blog, I did the one, no, I need to still finish. Once I finish this video, then I'll add a blog post to coordinate with it. And there will be a freebie in the blog post. And I'll have it linked down below too for this mid-year reset. Now, here we are. This is what we started with. So this is my monthly spread, and I haven't done a whole lot of decorating. I did want to go through, so I've added the outlines in, I think this is, I've kind of gone back and forth. So I'll show you the different markers I've been using in case you're curious. And I don't know exactly when I've used each one, but because the colors are so similar, I'm pretty sure it was those three mainly. So I think this has been my Tombow 553 is the majority of these blues. Sometimes I was using this mild liner, and I don't know the color because it's in another language, Japanese probably. But I think I use the Tombow more than anything. And then occasionally I'm using this Zig Clean Color dot marker, not so much for the dots because this blue color is really dark on the dots, but the marker, the fine tip marker, has been something I've used a little bit, and this color is called Splash. So those are the three things I've been using, and then I've grabbed a few stickers here and there. This is actually a sticker from a Boho Berry box. I still have a collection of those stickers that I get into every once in a while to use. And this Happy Planner sticker book was on sale for $16.79. It's called Let's Stay Home. I have no idea if it's still available, but there's been some of these little florals and those little tabs that I've been using. Let's see, I think it's the summer collection. Yeah. So here we go. I was thinking I kind of wanted to add one of these little floral bands up here. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that will cover up my, question is there room to add it? And I need my tweezers, hold on. I want to add it, but not cover up my text that I wrote in there. So let's see if I can make it work. It's gonna be close. There, I think if I just shift it over a little bit, that'll work. Okay, so that just gives a little bit of that touch of floral on this page as well. And okay, I haven't done anything on this page. It does not have dot grid on it, so I could run it through my printer because I bought the Jane's Agenda dot grid. I got it in letter size because then I just resize it to the page. I reduce it down 82%, down to 82% when I print it. And then that makes a nice dot grid for pages like this that don't have a dot grid. But right now, I'm not sure if I need it, so I'm just waiting on that. I am using my biohacking log. I've been enjoying having that. I got my personal monthly page set up, and I've added the Bible verse, "Do everything in love," from 1 Corinthians. And then the next pages are my JV plans, Jordan Vention plans. So I'm going to skip over that. I'll take you to the memories pages, and I have been using these just a little bit. I just kind of started dabbling with these. So I'm using this page for Bible verses that I come across and I want to remember. I think next week I'd like to try using maybe these daily journaling pages and perhaps this weekly page. I'm not sure. I'll see what I feel like. But next week, my husband goes back to work after being off for a week and a half, and my daughter will have an art camp just down the road from us that'll be from 9 to 3 daily. So I will have a week of more of a normal schedule and routine and having the house to myself while she's at camp and he's at work. And I cannot wait because I love having everyone home and the family time, but it's also a lot because I'm cooking a lot of meals, and it's, you know, it's good. It's not that it's bad and I'm not complaining, but it'll just be a nice change of pace to be back to some routines. And so this is where I started journaling for my mid-year reset. And then now we go in, this little divider is taking me into the calendar pages for July. And I guess I'll move this back out of the way for you. So this is the mid-year reset, and I will have a printable version of this linked down below. Plus it'll be over on my website. And like I mentioned, I'll put it in the blog post too. But it's just a bunch of questions I came up with to kind of help me think about the second half of the year, what is working, what I want to change, you know, what I want to focus on, that kind of thing. So that's what I started answering on that previous note page. And then here we are to the first weekly spread. And what I have been doing is, oh, I must have put this in the wrong spot. So where are we? I'll show you these in a second. I think when I was reassembling after I wrote those couple of pages, I put these in the wrong spot. So this is the weekly number 30 from Jane's Agenda. I have everything decorated, so I'll just flip to one that's blank so you can kind of see blank-ish, see what it looks like without me writing all over it. So I had already purchased the whole year's worth of the weekly number 30 inserts from Jane's Agenda because at the end of last year, I loved these. And so even though after using the weekly number 31, which we got as a insert collection in the April, I think, deluxe subscription box, and I used that for 3 months and I love it. That's my now new all-time favorite weekly spread. I didn't, hold on a minute. Okay. Slight interruption. Anyway, this is the weekly spread I'm using now for the rest of the year because I want to use up the inserts I've already purchased. And especially this past week because we've all been home together, I felt like I needed somewhere to put more daily information, a daily to-do list and that kind of thing. So I grabbed the Daily Essentials Tip-In. I believe you can still get these at Jane's Agenda. I would look for this. You can either just search for Daily Essentials Tip-In, or this says T-02-7. You could try searching for that. Typically, if there's a QR code, then that means it's in the shop. But I have been enjoying these. I'll show you. I think I have a blank one in here because this is what they look like. Let me pull it out so it's a little easier to see. So you have a place for the date at the top, a priority, or sometimes I do like my top 3 priorities there, and then your tasks, and then there's some self-care related things here. So I am grateful for a self-care item. You can track your hydration, and then a place to meal plan for the whole day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And then the back is just regular grid. So I've been enjoying having these in here because it sort of fulfilled that extra planning space that I needed. I didn't want a full page of anything, and this little tip-in size has been perfect because it lets me see the week and the day, and then behind here is where I have, you know, the other half of this weekly spread, which is just more of my overall weekly to-do list and my overall weekly meal plan. Oh, and I can fill this out really quickly. I've already done that. I think I still need to do it for today. So that's the regular weekly spread. I've added this tip in, and especially because we've all been home together, I have been cooking a lot of meals. So I really did need to plan most, all 3 meals most of the days this week. There were times where we were either dining out or doing leftovers, but overall it's been good. And then I was just deciding to do a little bit of journaling on the backside some days and kind of go over things there. And then this is where I'm tracking the different Jordan Essentials face masks that I've done. So I did the mojito one Wednesday. That mint mojito one is one of my favorites. But then in the July Joyful Jordan box, we got this new mask that's a Dead Sea mud mask. And so I did that on Friday, which was really good. So I'm trying to do one like every 2 to 3 days. It just definitely seems to help my skin, and I enjoy it. It's a little bit of self-care. So what I have in here is, as I use up these little inserts and I'm done with them, I put them to the front of my divider. So when I need to see what we're doing for the day, I use this tab and it flips me right to it. And then if I need to see this overall schedule, I can always flip it back. But really, this is what I need to see. I have my specific to-do list items over here. I have my day and the items that I'm trying to accomplish that day. And then I have, you know, the other checklist items for the week over here. So that has been my current setup, and I did go through and I got the schedule portion added to next week because I do like to plan 2 weeks ahead. And I have some of these dailies already stuck in here because I had a few things on my mind that I wanted to go ahead and transfer to that. This is, if you saw, I think it was the June Deluxe subscription box when we got the biohacking log. The pack I got, for whatever reason, was cut wrong. I don't want to open this because I have some personal information in there, but you can see like this is the way it was supposed to lay, and it was all cut off. Like we couldn't get up to 31 there. So I just messaged Jane's Agenda, hello@janesagenda.com, and Jake so kindly sent me a whole new pack. So now I have these, which are basically dot grid on one side and then this messed up biohacking log on the other side, but I'm just using them for the dot grid. And this has a bunch of sticky notes and stuff for something I'm working on, which is private, so that's why it's just folded up in there. And then I have all of the weeks decorated, and once I did my meal plan for the month, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here, then I went ahead and added the meal plan to this reminders box. I decided that was a good place to put my meal plan. So I have that laid out for the whole month as well, which just helps when especially if I'm at work and I'm trying to think about groceries, you know, make sure I have everything on my list, then I can look ahead for that. And then at the very back, the one other thing I wanted to do was to decorate this page and make this a memories. No, not memories, because I'm going to use those memory pages. So a review. I was going to do a monthly review back here. So let's just set that aside for a minute, and you can join along with me as I set this up. I think I'm going to flip this one the other way and just drop that there. We'll use this Tombow 553, and I think I'm going to do the finer tip here. Okay, hopefully I can squeeze in the word review. This is a pretty thick marker if you want it to be, so just depends on how much pressure you apply when you're making the letters. Okay, got it to work. So there's my monthly review. And usually all I do for this is I go about, divide it into about thirds. So first I'll do what worked. And then instead of saying what didn't work, I've changed it to be, what is it? Changes to make or areas to let go. I think it's let go of or change. I think that's what I've been saying. Because sometimes you just decide I don't need to worry about that anymore. And then sometimes you decide you want to make changes and do things differently. So that's that. And then the bottom third is for notes. And I might do, I don't know if I want to put any more stickers on there or not. I might wait and see once I'm done filling that out if I want to add any stickers, but there is that. So now my whole month of July is set up. I have all of the monthly pages decorated that I want to do any decorating on. I've added my zone cleaning reminders, and these little home stickers came from those Bloom stickers, the Bloom Daily Planner stickers. And I've been enjoying using some of these extra inserts that we got, like the memory keeping inserts and the convention planner inserts. So now let's talk about this menu planning system. I know several people were asking about that after one of my last videos. So let me go grab my home planning, like home control journal, because that's where I do the main portion of the menu planning, and then we'll talk about that. Okay, so let me put my planner aside, and this is our home control journal or home maintenance journal. And this is just something I put together with bits and pieces I had around. So this outer cover is a Jane's Agenda cover. The discs are from Jane's Agenda. The inner thing that you're seeing is actually a Happy Planner divider, and I think I laminated it. I don't think it came laminated, if I remember right. So I have that in there. It's just kind of another way to think about keeping up with the home. There's sections for daily, weekly, and monthly chores. And then I have my Fly Lady tips that I've written down there, my zone cleaning tracker, which I need to update. But that's partly because I've been doing my zone cleaning more with those index cards. So that'll be something we talk about next week. All right, so we're gonna go to the meals tab, and here is my monthly meal plan. And I know someone had asked about how I do my monthly meal plan and what the system is. So a couple of things I'll talk about hopefully quickly, and hopefully they'll make sense. One thing I suggest doing is just sitting down set a timer for 10 minutes. Don't make this a long project. And jot down your family's favorite recipes or your favorite recipes to prepare and eat, whatever your criteria is. You just pick them out. And I sorted mine by what was in my binder. So this is a recipe binder I created over the years. I need to go in and clean it out because there's a lot of things in there now that I'm not using anymore, but this will give you the idea. So you just need a basic list of some of your favorite easy recipes. One thing you could keep in mind is maybe make your categories that coincide with what we have here, and I'll talk about that in a second. So like I have soups and stews, salads and sides, poultry and seafood, beef and pork, other main dishes, apps and beverages. On the back I have desserts, and then other, and these are all categories that are in my binder. But really all you need to know is, what do you like to eat? What do you like to make? And then you can kind of drop things into these different categories. So then the next phase, or the second part of this pre-planning process, is pick 7 categories that you're going to use as your daily routine or daily category. So for me, I thought about our family schedule, what we typically do on a weekend, and what our typical weekdays look like, especially right now in the summer. So I decided Sundays I'd like to have something easy for me to make and simple, and it possibly would give us leftovers. So I have slow cooker or easy on Sundays. then that means leftovers we're typically eating on Mondays. And then Tuesday and Thursday I work, so I like to have something simple, easy to make, doesn't require a lot of prep. So I have quick meals on Tuesdays. Wednesdays I am working at home, so I have a little more time to prep things, so that's why I picked breakfast, because breakfast for dinner always seems good and I forget about it, but it's easy to do. And then pasta, because we do like to have pasta sometimes. Thursday is a day that I'm outside of the home working again, so I chose Mexican because we like Mexican food. And then Friday is kind of Italian or pizza. And then typically Saturdays, my husband likes to go out to eat. We usually go out for Mexican. We have our favorite Mexican restaurant that we all look forward to. So that's our option for Saturdays most of the time. So once you have those basic categories, then all you need are maybe 5 options for each category. So when you're making your favorites list, just keep that in mind, and you could just make your categories whatever you decide these are, and then pick 5 things to drop into those categories. And then when you sit down to look at your month at a glance like this, it can be overwhelming when it's this blank calendar. Like, let's just flip to a blank month and I'll show you. So yeah, when you look at it like this, you think, oh my gosh, it's so many to fill out. But I usually just try to calm my brain a little bit and start with something that I know, like Sundays is easy and slow cooker, so I'll start with that. And then I always know Monday is leftover. And then I get to Tuesday, and Tuesdays I'm looking for something that's quick, so I drop those in. So then it makes it simple and easy to go in and just find those recipes off that list you've already created and drop them in. The other thing I'll do is look for resources. So like this is from the Passionate Penny Pincher. I'm on her email list now, and so this was something that we got as a freebie, was a June and July menu plan. So not that I know all these recipes and I'm going to cook them all, but it kind of triggers my brain to think about things that I could make, like a taco salad. We never make those, but I make tacos all the time and quesadillas all the time. So I have all the ingredients on hand that we could easily do taco salads too, and that would just be another way to use, you know, some of the same ingredients that I'm already used to buying and having, and drop that in on my night that we usually do Mexican food. And then in the back of this section, I've just been keeping, where are they? Keeping my old menus. So January and February. So often I'll go through too and just look back at previous months to get ideas of either something we haven't had in a while or something that's a favorite that I don't want to forget. In January, I really was kind of trying to use up more staples we had on hand. So I even took an inventory of pantry, the kitchen freezer, and then we have a deep freezer in the basement. So I took an inventory of all that. And that way, when I was making my meal plan, I could reference that as well. So these are a monthly insert that came from Jane's Agenda. I'm pretty sure we got these in a sub box, maybe in January or December. It might have been early on in the year. So these have been working really good for these monthly meal plans. And the other thing that I did once I came up with my July plan was, like I mentioned before, put those in here. So then it was just a matter of going through week by week and dropping those in. And then I also added them to our kitchen wall calendar. We have a kitchen wall calendar that's supposed to be the hub where my entire family goes to find out what we're doing, but typically they just ask me what's going on. So it's more often than not, it's just my visual reminder of what we're doing and another place for me to look for that menu plan. So if I don't happen to have my planner with me or out and I'm in the kitchen trying to get ready for dinner, I can look on that wall calendar and see the menu plan as well. But I like having this log of the previous months because it really does make it easy. Like the longer we go on this year, the easier it's getting to just drop those meals in. And essentially, there's a lot of them we just put on repeat. Like now when I was filling this one out, I kind of looked back and it seemed like the third Wednesday of each month we were doing the breakfast burrito, so I just put that on the third Wednesday, and it really was almost the whole monthly calendar was on repeat. So that is my menu planning system. Hopefully that made sense and didn't seem too complicated or overwhelming. I have a previous video where I talked about another way that you can meal plan, which is get a monthly calendar and just write down what you're making as the month goes on, and then the next month it's a lot easier to go back and just drop in those same meals that you made, because typically if you're making it, it's something you know, something that you have ingredients on hand for, something you like, or sometimes it's a new recipe, but then you'll know whether you want to repeat that recipe or not. All right, so that's my meal planning system. That's just another way that I'm trying to kind of reset each month, and as we go into the second half of the year, really keeping up with that system has been helpful, because it's just one less decision I have to make on a day when, any given day, when I'm tired, when I don't have a lot of energy, when everything feels like too much, then that's one less decision I have to make. And that just definitely reduces my stress and helps with my mental load, and is a little way that I can kind of take care of myself, but also keep taking care of my family and saving money because we're cooking and eating at home more often. Last quarter, I began using something new to keep up with my home tasks. It's my index card home maintenance system, and I'll show you exactly how I set it up in next week's video, but here's kind of a sneak peek. It's essentially a tickler file system. So as you set the system up, you'll have these numbered dividers which correspond to each day of the month, and monthly dividers so that you have a place for everything as you're going through the system. And the color code on the index cards corresponds with whether a task is done daily, weekly, or monthly. And it's just an easy way to keep some of these ongoing tasks on repeat. And it also allows me to free up some space in my planner because I'm not rewriting these tasks in my planner. And it's a great system to be able to share with the whole household, and everyone can see the tasks that need to be done. And my brain likes it because it's easy and kind of fun to move the cards around, and gets me motivated to just start getting things done, and I don't get so caught up in the planning process because it's such an easy system to implement. This summer, I have also been quietly decluttering small areas, one drawer at a time. Today, I tackled the pile of planning supplies that had been accumulating on my desk in my office, and just getting these little things moved along, simplifying these physical spaces, always helps me breathe a little easier. So if you're in a busy season, it's okay to go slow. If you've been feeling scattered or overwhelmed lately, just know that you're not alone, and I hope this video gives you a breath of fresh air. Little changes really do add up, and I encourage you to keep trying and making those little changes one step at a time. Make sure you're subscribed for next week's video, where I'll walk you through the full index card home maintenance system. It really has been a game changer for my mental well-being and for my home. And if you'd like to join me in simplifying more areas of your life, check the description below for the coordinating blog post and free mid-year journaling prompts. I'd love to hear how you're refreshing your life this month. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a good week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.